Alright, hey, this is Big Arm here. We're going to try to set up something a little bit different. Today, what I'm going to try to do, or what we're going to try to do, hopefully I'll usually have a co-host with me so we can kind of discuss things a little bit better. It's, just having one person. I can't really discuss any opinions or anything like that, so we're going to try to have a co-host, maybe get a couple special guests in here, My basis for what I want to try to do is just kind of give a quick recap of something that you can go and click on anytime, anywhere. You don't have to worry about trying to catch it on TV or something. I'm going to try to run down, the local fights. We're going to try to, I'm going to try to tell you when certain events are coming up and maybe break down those fights. Me and someone else, we're going to discuss those fights maybe, and then get some information and just try to put it out there on something that you can watch whenever you want to. Something that's going to make it real just convenient for you. So you can say, hey, what happened at the fights, the other night, or what's coming up. Bam, you can go click on my YouTube link, look at the latest thing, and you're going to say, oh, okay, we're going to have different sections, we're going to have, each section we're going to have kind of like a main part, and then we might recap some fights, and then we're going to talk about some upcoming fights, and then, then we'll probably, sign off with something, special. So first up, tomorrow we're going to try to make the very first show, and of course I think it's fitting that our first show be about Kickdown 100. I mean, how much more special is that going to get? Kickdown 100. We all know Steve Alley puts on a very classy show. You can take your kids to this show, no problem. This is, he runs one of the classiest promotions around, and it's his 100th event. It's a very special time for him. In fact, Dean Burley, MMA Buzz, if you go to his YouTube link, he's got an interview with Steve, and you can hear a little bit about the past. I mean, I think it's a great. I want to recap a couple fights that happened last week if you haven't heard about them. On March 30th, we had Brian Baker versus let me get the pronunciation right, Pereira. So Brian Baker, was fighting in Bellator. They have their tournaments, and he was fighting in the semifinal. So I kind of like the way Bellator does it. They kind of have it's a bracket. You work your way up the bracket, you get a shot at the champ. There's no questions asked. You win fights to fight the champ. It's not just somebody picking it out. So it's good in its own ways, and then it's kind of sometimes you end up with some matchups that maybe are less interesting or whatever. But this was actually a pretty good fight. I just got done watching it. You can go. It's pancrase.org. They got all the Bellator fights, so you can go there and you can just watch the fights if you want to. But I just got done watching it. It was a pretty good fight. I mean, it wasn't nothing special because it went to decision. And I scored it. I scored the first round for Pereira. He's just a little bit more aggressive. And I scored round 2 and round 3 for Baker. Baker really seemed like he was starting to take control in the third round. He started being a little bit more aggressive. So I just gave it to Baker. It was a split decision, but either way, he's moving on to the semifinals, and I think he's going to fight Saunders. I'm not 100% sure of that, so we'll get some more information on that later on. Pereira was just, he's kind of known for his knockouts. I think, he's like 20-4 or something, in his last like 24 fights, and that includes this Baker fight. So, and he's been knocking people out. And Baker got knocked out like in his previous fight, a couple fights ago. So, that might have been something. But Baker dropped down to 170. He looked pretty good. He wasn't like huge like I thought maybe he would be. He wasn't like huge. But, he looked good. I mean, he looked good. He got the win. And I guess that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think he was just a little bit longer. He kept, like, Pereira couldn't really ever get close enough to, land a good shot. I mean, Baker was throwing lots of kicks, keeping his jab out there. Baker has a really awkward fighting style. He's very herky-jerky. If you've never seen him fight, he's very unorthodox. I would call it unorthodox. He switches stances sometimes. It's just stuff that if you were growing up right now learning how to fight, a coach may tell you not to do, but I think Baker's already established. I mean, dude's only lost like 3 fights, so I mean, whatever works. If you win, and he seems to be winning. He's he's fought a lot of good people, and I mean, I guess he just gets losses at inopportune times, and that kind of maybe keeps him out of the UFC. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the UFC. I have no idea why he hasn't really ever gotten his shot at the UFC. But maybe after this run, if he can take that welterweight champ, maybe he'll get a look. The other fight, Thomas Denny, that was on March 31st. It was on WIMA, I don't even know how, Worldwide MMA. You can go. Seth has a link up at Fight to Win. So if you go Facebook, Fight to Win, go ahead and like his page. Say Seth does a lot. In fact, he's got something coming up I'm going to tell you about at the end. So go ahead and go like Seth's page and go watch that Thomas Denny fight. Again, it was just, it was a good fight. I mean, I guess it all depends on what you're looking for. It also went to decision, but each round was pretty close. But I gave each round to Caro as well as all the judges. So I don't know. I've never fought, so I can't comment on this. But to me, it seems like, I don't know Thomas, but I've talked to Thomas several times, and I don't know what his goals or aspirations are. But to me, it seems like, we know he's older. Okay, Caro's 29. I think Thomas is around 40. Man, he just seemed like he was a little bit tentative. I'm thinking in my mind, man, it's like, what do you got to lose? Caro's got everything to gain. You got nothing to lose. I thought maybe he could have been a little bit more aggressive. I don't know exactly what he thought about the fight. Hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to him. He runs, Team Wildman here, and all his fighters are very good. So, and I just gave it, it was just that little edge each round. Each round it was just, Caro was moving forward. Okay, he gets around. Caro landed a couple more shots. Caro's got just one or two more takedowns, And even though Thomas was working from the bottom really well, he never could lock in a submission. And it just, and we all watch MMA. If you're on the bottom, usually you're not going to get the round. You could be the only one punching, and you're still not going to get the round. So I just thought it was a little bit odd in the first couple rounds. Maybe he was worried about gassing out again. Because it did seem like. He lost a little bit of wind in the fight prior to that, but he was fighting a monster. Caro wasn't that big, didn't look a whole lot bigger. In fact, they looked about the same size to me. So, but again, as you know, I don't fight. I just sit here and commentate. Some stuff that we got coming up, obviously, is Kickdown 100. I kind of want to save that for tomorrow. We're going to go over a couple of those fights, especially the main event and the co-main event. We're definitely going to get onto that. And we're just going to talk about some of the kickdowns we've been to and some of the stuff that we've had the pleasure of watching some of those kickdown events, which are just epic, man. And like I said, I want to save some of that material for tomorrow, so I'm not going to get into that. Upcoming events are April 7th. Saturday is Kickdown 100. They're going to have MMA seminars. Jack Johnson, Ian Stonehouse is the main event. April 21st is Rocky Mountain Bad Boys. And then on April 28th, I find this kind of interesting. Ultimate Top Team is going down to Colorado Springs, and they got Jason Clayton versus Donnie Lyles. So that might be something to look for. I'd like to see how the rest of that card shapes up. We got the UFC Saturday, April 14th. We got Gustafsson versus Silva, and then Stan versus Sakura. Bellator is obviously on Friday night. So you want to get ready for Kickdown 100. You can watch Bellator on Friday night. Let me know what you think of the show. Give me some advice. Give me some tips. We're going to try to work on this. I'm going to try not to say and too many times. And hopefully with the co-host it'll be a little bit more engaging. We can discuss some of this stuff. I got some other people that I want to talk about later on in the broadcast tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have some time. We're going to get on it. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll be back at you. Thank you so much.